Hello everybody, Tyrone the Guy 3 here. Welcome back to Dragon Ball Super Reviews. Today we'll be doing the review of episode 48. This episode is titled, Hope Again, Trunks Wakes Up in the Present. This episode, it was good. Like, I'm not gonna deny that. It's a good episode. So far, the Future Trunks episodes have actually been really good just because of their dark present, and the complaints I have are complaints, but they're complaints because it's ripping kind of off of the saga that I do love, the Android saga. Like, okay, I have no problem with them using elements from the past, because hell, the Android saga in itself is basically stuff that came from the Ribbon Army saga in Dragon Ball. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with them using Future Trunks as a plot element character, a main character, revising him. He is popular, so bring him back, I guess. I mean, I'm not for bringing back characters just because they're popular, but if it has to be done, it has to be done. Like, whatever, fine, I've gotten over that. My thing, that's still gonna need some explaining, and I hope Trunks can find a way to explain it after the events of, like, say, episode 49. The blue hair, I've given up on. I'm just gonna think that Akira Toriyama got lazy and colored the hair the wrong color. Or Toei colored it the wrong color. I don't know. Somebody messed up and didn't get the memo that Trunks' hair was purple. Whatever. So, I've let a lot of things just sort of fly. I've let some BS's just sort of fly. I've become a little bit more down to earth and melancholy about the BS's that have happened. And I've made the decision to sit down and enjoy the ride for the most part. They still have to do some explaining, but for the most part I've decided to just settle down. Hell, even Hell Zeon is praising this. And if I look like the grumpy one compared to Hell Zeon, yeah, that's gonna be bad. So I don't want to be the DB Dragon Ball Nazi right now of things. So I've decided to let some things pass, at least for now, because we're only 2 episodes into the saga. But overall, this episode did a really good job at the beginning and at the end. Everything in between it was kind of in the way. I'll get into the plot summary. The plot summary is basically this. It's continuing off where episode 47 left off. Trunks fights off against Black because Black killed Mai, which they promoted Mai a lot, so it's weird that they killed her off. Anyway, Trunks fights off against Black. When Trunks fights off against Black, it's a really damn good fight. Like, shit, the Universe 6 saga should have just looked like this. It should have just been full of these fights. And it should have, a lot of Dragon Ball Super should have just been these fights. This one short fight, and that's the only gripe with the fight, is that it's too short. This one short fight was probably better than most of the fights we've seen so far. And I get the idea that it was short. The reason it was short was, one, I think Trunks was worn out. He's physically injured. 2, they wanted to show off the Black's clearly stronger. And they can't do that if the fight's going on really long, because then at that point it just seems like they're equal. So I get that. Trunks actually does some pretty clever stuff here. Like, one thing he does is that he uses his sword to knock away at Black's arm so that the energy ball doesn't hit him, and he uses the Masenko to distract him long enough to escape to the time machine. We can really feel the dire, critical situation that Trunks is in. I like this. I like this use. Then we get to the BS. Trunks travels through time and barely escapes Black's purple darkish Kamehameha thing. And this is where we hit BS. A lot of the episode at that point is just nonsense. Like, a lot of it is nonsense. It's Kid Trunks at school, Emperor Pilaf effing around with Pshu and Mai. A lot of it is just thick, fillery air. Then we cut to Trunks making it back. Kid Trunks is freaking out because he sees a guy that looks just like him, even though he doesn't have fucking purple hair. Yeah, we see that Trunks is freaking out. And then after that point, Bulma knows immediately, whoa, this is the time machine that says hope. Let's get on this. This is Trunks. He needs help. Kid Trunks, call on Vegeta so he can get here. They're at Whis' place, and we can learn in this episode that Bulma actually has a communicator to contact Whis. We never got to see how Bulma's been contacting Whis this whole time, but now we finally get a thing. Because in Resurrection F, it looks kind of awkward. Bulma just was holding a ice cream parfait in the air so that Whis can see it from afar. It just looks really weird. So I'm glad that we finally have a communicator now. So when that happens, Beerus and Whis, for some reason, are with Goku and Vegeta. Like, they decide to show up too. Not sure why, it doesn't concern them. But whatever, they decide to show up, and when they do, we get to see nice footage of Yajirobe and Korin just chilling on Korin's tower. And Yajirobe's gotten a bit buffer since Dragon Ball Z. In Dragon Ball Z, he was just sort of fat with a little muscle. Now he's gotten a lot sleeker and buffer. I don't know if that's because the art style changed or whatever. But anyway, after that point, once Trunks comes to, I'm glad that they kind of are paying attention to detail. And I say this very lightly. Maybe it's just they wanted Trunks to attack Goku. But Trunks, in this time, when Trunks returned back to the future, most he knew about Goku was that Goku had died because of the events of the Cell Saga. So he doesn't know that Goku got brought back. So he assumes that Goku's dead. So anything he sees that looks like Goku has to be black under this logic. I don't know if they actually knew that or they just were saying, hey, he looks like Goku, attack. Well, he looks like black, attack him. So yeah, Trunks freaking has a post-traumatic stress disorder and attacks Goku because of it, and the episode ends on that cliffhanger. Good episode, really good episode. Nice use of music and nice use of choreography for the fights. Yeah, really good. My gripe with this, though, isn't even the episode itself. It's the preview before the episode began in episode 47 when they previewed this episode. The preview lies to you. The preview only shows Goku, Vegeta, and Bulma recuperating Trunks, as well as, like, Kid Trunks having, I guess you can say time shocks because he's seeing himself. And then they also show, like, what did they show? They show Black getting pissed that Trunks escaped. So they only show those clips. They don't show Emperor Pilaf and the others screwing around in school. They don't show Goku screwing around in Korin Tower with Korin and Yajirobe. They don't show any of the stuff that they know is going to make the episode not as appealing. And to me, that's a problem, because the episode fools you into thinking that you're in for 30 minutes of just action and, I guess you could say exposition and plot, when in reality, only 5 minutes were dedicated to action, exposition, and plot. And that's what kind of messes with me. Other than that, again, like I said, the episode's really good. We can see that Black is really pissed off at the fact that Trunks escaped. I'm not sure why. But like I said, it's usually up to Trunks to explain a lot of things when things go down in his timeline. Because he did it in the Android Saga. Trunks was mostly an exposition character for the most part to explain the plot of the Android Saga, because everything that already was going down with our Z-Warriors had already happened in Trunks' timeline, with a few variations, obviously. So, I'm curious to see the exposition episodes where Trunks explains what's going down, rather than just, like, the action in itself. Because, yeah, the action's nice, but it's not going to explain why the fuck Maya's in Trunks' timeline, completely young and healthy, and dating Trunks when that shouldn't happen. It doesn't explain why Trunks' hair is blue, and it also doesn't explain why Trunks is fighting off against God-level fighters, where when we last saw him, he was done with the Android Saga, so he should at least be as strong as Perfect Cell. Not even Super Perfect Cell, but Perfect Cell, because I assume that the Hyperbolic Time Chamber got destroyed. So, a lot of questions to be answered, but my gripe was mainly with the preview that led up to this episode. And with that being said, the preview for the next episode shows that Black is going to be in the current timeline against Goku. But based on how they've treated us so far, Goku and Black are probably going to meet at the last 5 minutes of the episode, and then the episode will end on another cliffhanger, because that's how they've been formatting the previews, to make us think that we're in for a lot, when in reality we're in for very little. So, with that said, the next episode is titled A Message from the Future, Goku Black Invades. So I'll see you all then, everybody. Tyrone the God 3 out.